brings me to another question regarding cheat meals. So I know you talked with, I think it was Fuad, that we already talked about him, about cheat meals, and I think he was kind of comparing your approach to Patrick Tuor's. And for anyone who doesn't know, Patrick is a great coach who's coached like James Hollingshead, Ian Valliere, a lot of these like really big dudes who have become even bigger and better under his guidance. And he's like completely anti-cheat meal. And when I say anti-cheat meal, like it's not, I don't know that he like cracks the whip on anyone who ever eats one, but he never recommends it. He'll never put it in the plan and say this will make you better. And his reasoning is just like, look, my job is as a coach just to tell you to eat the right things, and there's never a situation where, say, a burger is going to be better than steak and rice. So, and I think your feeling on that was more like, well, maybe that would be true if we were all robots, but we're not, and so we need some variety, more or less.
Yeah, I used to not have cheat meals. I used to not plan them for a while, for several years. And I would like kind of at the end of a contest, I would really quiz a client, like how many times did you break down? And every single one of them, at least late in prep, broke down almost once a week. Some of them would make it 2 or 3 weeks, but and so finally I was just like, they're not robots, and so I want to know what they're doing. They're not telling me this. They're cheating anyways. So now when I make my adjustments, thinking they ate the prescribed amount of food. And so I thought, so the way I kind of came down to it was like, okay, I'm doing these high days. These high days are already storage days. So like someone like your side, you're already getting like 40, 45 grams of protein and 125, 135 grams of carbs. I mean, you're already getting a large meal. So if you're eating a 1,000-calorie meal right from the get-go, and I replace it and I give you an optional cheat meal and you eat a 3,000-calorie meal even, which is a massive meal, but it's probably not. It's probably like 2,000. You're getting 1,000 extra calories a week. Well, that's I know. But the problem is that I don't want the cheat meals to turn into eating contests. And so it's hard to say that because people start turning it into that. And it's not ideal. You're eating junk, so it serves a purpose in that I know when you're cheating. I know, and I plan for it, and I account for it, and I put boundaries on it. You guys have never really had to because you've been able to get in shape. If someone's trending and we're reducing calories and carbs and fat to a point where we're 6 weeks out and your carbs and fats are lower than I want them to be, and we're struggling to stay on target, then I put limits on the cheat meal: 2,000 calories, 1,500 calories, 1,200 calories.
I think you've done that for
you like the last couple weeks
during Universe, and for both of us for our first show too.
Was it the very end? Yeah,
but we were both on like no carbs and no fats.
But I guess so. I'm kind of wondering here. Like we talked, I think a week or two ago about what foods are really the best choices on a high day when you can technically have sugary carbs of a lot of different variety. What's really the best to eat? And we came to the conclusion like really it's still better if you stick to basically rice and some fruit and like still pick it, kill it, grow it foods. So when it comes to the cheat meal, do you see a commonality among the clients who get the best results who basically kind of stick within a narrow range in their cheat meals?
Yeah.
For example, are they the ones who are more likely to eat like one burger and an order of fries, or like a fattier steak and a baked potato versus flanking rice?
Yeah, I mean you can't beat thermodynamics. You have to pay the piper. If you're someone who treats a cheat meal as, oh, I'm going to try to enter an eating contest, I'm going to eat a pound of deep fried butter. I can't coach that out of you. You're not a winner. I mean, to be frank, if I have to baby you and say, look, I'm giving you this free meal so you're on plan the rest, and my cheat meals are optional. You don't have to take them. Almost everyone does, and certainly late in prep everyone does. But you don't have to take them. But they're there because if I don't give them to you, you're having them. And people can say they don't, but I've eaten a lot of meals with a lot of contest prep bodybuilders who I wasn't coaching, and all of those meals were eaten at a restaurant that were clearly not on a diet. Every show I've ever been to, I've eaten dinner. You always go out with a group of guys, and a lot of them are in prep, and none of them are eating diet food. And so either it's happening where I would much rather plan it. But if I have to, and I don't always say this, I don't know if, because you guys, I knew I didn't have to. You were powerlifters. A lot guys people who I'm worried about it, I will say with a cheat meal, I'll say, look, it's a free meal. You're off the diet. You don't have, it's optional, but it's a chance to be a normal human. Take your wife to dinner, take a break from the diet. Whatever you've been craving that week, get it out of your system so you're not craving it. So there's no excuse the rest of the week to stay on plan. But calories still count. If you go and eat, if you go and see if you can eat a pound of deep fried butter just to see if you can eat it without puking, you're not helping yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think we both too, like, we're probably a little bit weird during our cheats. So we're like, we don't think, yes, they're cheat, but it's really, there's a difference in verbiage between a cheat meal and a free meal. Just hearing those words makes it sound very, very different. And I think we both, even during our free meals, we're like, we want to make sure we're not.
We don't want to derail progress. And sometimes, like, one of my high days is on a Tuesday in the off season when I have multiple, and then my check-in is Wednesday. And so in the back of my mind, I'm always like, it doesn't matter that much, but I'm like, I don't want to look extra bloated for my check-in pictures because I don't want to throw things off. And I'd rather like my real meals stay as high as possible versus getting to be a glutton with, whatever bullshit I want to eat on Tuesday night.
And even our cheat meals are like pretty healthy. Like all through prep, we basically had the same free meal every week.
There's so much, when you guys are home cooking, when you're cooking your own meal, there's only so much damage you can do. And I think we've talked about this, about me noticing the difference between my family and my wife's family. My family's much more overweight than my wife's family. And the real difference at like family gatherings, all family gatherings revolve around food, where my food would be like ordered pizza, chips and dip, where my wife's family would be like homemade apple pie, cheese and crackers. But like it's nothing. I'm a coach. We do check-ins, and so like you even said, like your first preps, we did put limitations on the cheat meal. And so if someone's going, it's you're not. You always have to pay the piper. If you're being stupid with the cheat meal, you're going to fall behind, and that's the change I'm going to make to the diet.
Well, I'm actually kind of thinking about this from an off-season standpoint too, and so. Obviously calories still count, but it's a bit of a different goal here. So I'm wondering a couple of different things. So, like, right now, I'm 4 weeks post-show, and so at this point, most of the gluttonous cravings are totally gone. They were honestly like 2 weeks, and especially I had a couple extra cheat meals like you predicted with Danny after her show, and now I'm just like really ready to be back on track. I'm like, okay, I have 3 high days per week. I really only feel the need to like eat something truly off plan on one of them, like on Saturday night with Danny. The other 2, I'm like, I'll eat a strip steak or a ribeye and a potato instead of chicken and rice. But if I'm already big and I'm trying to get even bigger and build my metabolism even higher, is it sometimes a benefit in that situation to actually go a little bit more nuts on the cheat meal? Is it really going to benefit you?
No, I don't think so. I really prefer to keep it as what you're craving, because then it's just a meal to not have to be a bodybuilder. Like when people. And I don't put limitations on it to start with, because people are like, tell me what to eat. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to tell you what to eat, I'm going to say eat on plan. This is a chance. Look, you got a girlfriend, you got a boyfriend, you got a husband, you got a wife, you got kids. You get 1 meal a week or whatever, however many you get, to not have to worry about it. If you are going to worry about it, then stay on plan. And right. I can tell you the best things to do, but I can't make you a winner. Like you just said, like you don't want, like it's like anything, like like going out and getting hammered is fun, going on a club and getting wasted with your buddies, it's a good time. But if you got to squat the next day, you pay the it just is what it is. I'm giving you the option. It's an optional cheat meal. It's a meal to take your wife out for dinner so she doesn't hate you for being a bodybuilder. It's a meal to not count calories so you can just be a normal human for a few minutes. If you turn it into if you can't control yourself and you make it just an absolute garbage meal for when you don't even crave garbage, that's that's something I can't coach out of you. You're just not. Yeah. You're not to be mean, but you're just not a winner. And really the weird thing about being a coach is, for the most part, you're best at the reason like the coaches who work with the real top athletes seem to keep getting the best top athletes. Is because you're good athletes. It's a different coach. Is basically what I'm doing with my best athletes is keeping them from doing too much. Like Danny, like when you're week out, you want to do 2.5 hours of cardio a day, and we have to say harder isn't just better. Better is better. And that's what you do, like, as a coach with your winners. And this is, like, to be, not, I don't want to sound mean because, you know, like, everyone's got different priorities or whatever reasons for doing everything, you know. But if you're the type of person who wants to be the best in the world at whatever you do, and that's just, you know, the absolute best I can be, I don't have to worry about those things. I'll give you the optional meal, you know. And if I have to say, yeah, I mean, you know, it is. I mean, it is what it is. But the type of person where I would have to put restrictions on the cheat meal, that's not the only cheat meal they're having anyways that week. They're not following the diet more.
Right. Well, on a similar note, I've noticed that the bigger I get and the bigger my metabolism gets and the more I have to eat, the less room for error there really is anyway. And it's not that, like, some of these foods still sound great, but I know that I'm probably not going to perform as well the next day if I eat pizza versus just eating some more steak and rice. I'm certainly going to be bloated, and if I'm training back or legs, that's not going to help me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be up like 5 pounds just because of the extra, I don't know, sodium, MSG, whatever. And if I've got to do like HIIT cardio the next morning, I'm going to have a huge fucking back pump just from that. And like we talked about, that's going to impact things like my injury status. And so there's all these other things that come into play to where I'm like, it's not even worth it. I mean, I already had fun post-show, and now I'm ready to be on track and actually make progress.
I think the thing for me post-show is like just having the freedom to not have to be on eating 5 times per day. Like being able to be like, okay, like I had breakfast, oh, we're out of coffee, and like I want to, you know, have a bite of something. Not feeling guilty for having like a bite of something. Like that's the biggest thing for me, because you spend, you know, the 51 other weeks of the year being on point all the time with everything. And I don't realize that it's not that I want like certain foods so much as I just want the freedom to just have a bite of something when I want to have it. You know,
it depends. All of it just depends on the person, and it'll be hard to like summarize this. But like, I haven't competed in years. I have no plans of ever competing again. My meals are still mostly meat and rice, steak and rice chicken. It's just, you know, like, they taste good. I feel better. I sleep better. My work production, my job is better, and my training's better. So, you know, like, but the clients who ask me, like, so could I eat? I just hit the macros, right? So if I bought like, you know, like turkey, deli meat turkey, and it's like, yeah, technically, but you're not going to win the Mr. Olympia doing it that way. You know, like, it is what it is. And so really the cheat meal came from the fact of, from probably like 2002 to 2008 or 9-ish, I would give them rarely. And it would be a special thing when, like, you could tell the client was really hurting. But after that whole time talking to clients, and I used to do, like, how I do the questionnaire, I used to do, like, a post-contest kind of questionnaire. And every single one of them would tell me a slew of cheats, you know? And it's like, well, okay, if I break it down, you're cheating once a week anyways, only I didn't know when you were doing it. I didn't know so when you were giving me the check-in, I don't know that happened. I'm assuming the diet I gave you is what you followed, and you don't look that way, so now I need to change the diet, but I'm making the wrong changes. This is just a way to, and there's only so much you can do, because, you know, like, your clients who aren't your best clients are still cheating even more than that. But I just kind of like acquiesce to the fact that it is what it is. Humans are humans; they're not robots. This is the best way for me to get as close to truly knowing what the client is doing. And there's still the thing that if you aren't on track, I put limitations on the cheat meal.
For more content like this, visit www.teamtroponin.com.
This video is brought to you by First Attachment Nutrition, battle-tested nutrition, expert formulated supplements. Join the First Attachment revolution.